Yo, what's up, my goons? Listen, I just want to kind of go over some interactions in this video, and I know I've talked to you guys about it. That eventually I want to start breaking down some of this content, kind of like play by play, and kind of like showcase some proactive thinking, kind of like some strategies that can help you along the way when it comes to facing your opponent, and when you're kind of no longer worried about what your deck is doing, but now you're kind of like hyper focus on what your opponent is doing, and so that you can sort of kind of gauge what they're up to, as well as bait some interactions. And in this particular interaction, this was mine and Gio's game on Saturday, but there was a specific interaction that I kind of wanted to highlight because I thought it was pretty cool, and it definitely worked out the way that my strategy intended. So let's go ahead and fast forward to where it is, and it kind of just Gio has a bad hand, and he kind of just has to set up one backup. We're gonna fast forward a little bit here. So this is where I wanted to kind of talk about here, and this is the perfect example of kind of like how we set up certain plays. So Gio here, he's going to play his backup that gets him a summon, right? And what do we get? Oh, Amaterasu, of course, right? So I noticed that, and you see my hands. I already touched the Lena and Len, knowing full well that I'm going to be utilizing those, and I kind of just already set them over because I have that special set up. Okay, so Gio does the Saz, gets into Ama, ends with 5 in hand. All right, so here's my play. I go, okay, I can continue to just set up backups, which we pitch the Bahamut, tap the Riku, deploy the brother, right? I'm gonna go ahead and search for the Tidus here, and I could just pass, and that leaves me with 5 cards in hand. But I know that if I want to try and develop my board a little bit more, I'm gonna be met with some resistance, especially that Ama, knowing full well that I know that it's in his hand. So I'm gonna try something else here, and you're gonna see me hesitate for a little bit, but eventually what we're going to do is we're going to pitch and tap our Len to deploy the Tidus to bait this Ama. Okay, let me stop right here for a second. So, and the reason we use the Len here, it's because when your opponent casts a summon, it will reactivate the Len, giving me the water CP in order to use the Rise special off of Lena. Okay, so it's very important. So that's why we tap that way. We're gonna go ahead and hit the play there, and you'll watch me. You know, I'm kind of like, I'm debating. I'm just like, you know, if he doesn't Amar it, that's fine. We have Tidus on board, and we get a search. But this is like 100%. He knows damn well what I'm going to search for. And without hesitation, there's Gio, and he's going to cast the Ama, putting him to 3 cards in hand. It's activating my Len, okay? And Tidus is now in the break zone. But we don't arise right away, okay? We're going to let him do his stuff because we know that he's still building his backups, okay? Presents Joshua. I'm in no threat. This is a perfect opportunity to bring back my Tidus. The main reason I do this is because, and let me pull it up. It's mainly for the Jack play that I wanna force. So here I'm actually, before I even commit to this play, I need to make sure there's no Zidane in that break zone. Okay, because if then I do the special, bring in Tidus, okay, goes and gets the search, well, Gio can just prime the his forward, right? And then goes and gets the Phoenix, brings in the Zidane, and he rips the Jack out of my hand. That's a no-no. So I'm just double checking to make sure that this play is going to go off without a hitch. Sure enough, it's not in the break zone. So we go ahead and special. Get the Tidus. This comes in Dole to proc the search. We're gonna get the Jack. And now the reason we do that, the reason I set up that whole play in general, it's because of Jack's bounce ability. The only caveat to that ability is that a forward has to attack in order for that to meet its requirement. If 3 or more forwards attack, it'll give me a different effect. So I only need 1 forward to attack. And normally in this situation, I'll rely on my LB deck, right? I have Zidane in there now, but normally it's Leo. Leo can get easily answered, but a lot of times early on, wasting resources to answer an early Leo is not good unless your forward that you're presenting naturally can just deal with it. But normally early on, your opponent doesn't go out of their way to just get rid of it, you know. So you'll see now what happens here. So got the 4 backups to the Tidus. Gio was praising me for using Lena a lot more often than I have not. And next turn is just pretty straightforward. We're going to draw. We're going to see if we put another forward out, which is actually a bad idea. Rule of thumb is that if you're just going straight for an attack, don't use your main phase 1 to deploy a forward, because if they EX burst, then you just kind of just wasted that forward. Use your main phase 2 a little bit more better for, you know, deploy. Like if you're gonna play a forward and kind of just pass, use your main phase 2 if you're gonna plan on attacking. Okay, because if I lose the Tidus here, it's no big deal. We've seen how resilient it comes back, but in this case, it's just attack. All right, so attack is fine. All right, we got 1 point of damage, no big deal. But the big thing here is Jack. And you can see actually in my hand, I already have a Fire Jack. So this plays even better because now this gives me the one that I'm about to play, one in my hand, and now the one that I'll search off of the Tidus here. And again, I tap my backups to where the Lena special, he already saw me use it. So why not try to bait that kind of interaction again, you know? So I'll keep that untapped, and then if he plays a summon, it'll untap the Len again and kind of give me that opportunity again. So kind of just straightforward. So that was that whole interaction there. The whole play, that whole last turn was a setup so that I can now have this board state where now I have 2 forts and I have 2 cancel abilities. I'm on 4 backups. Gio is on 3 cards in hand and he's got a Joshua and 3 backups. On Mono Fire, that's not much of a threat. So this is how my deck capitalizes on these situations in which I come out on top, because now you know the ability that this deck has to kind of like flood the board. You know, you can do Yuna into Orin, and then you got 4 forwards on the field. It's kind of hard to deal with because then when I start pushing for damage, then the board clear with the Bahamut kind of just solidifies the game, which is how I win this one. But that's besides the point. The point is that when you know what your deck wants to do and know its plays really good, you kind of set up for it, right? But you're also watching your opponent do it. And if they kind of like go with the flow of what you're kind of predicting to happen, that's how you come out on top. And that's kind of what I just wanted to highlight there. But thanks, guys. I want to do this a little bit more often. Now it's a short video, but I kind of want to go over your interactions as well. I'll show you what you kind of did right. Maybe you could have done a little bit better. Maybe it's just being CP efficient. Maybe it's baiting out your opponent. Maybe it's just using your main phase 2 just a little bit more. But if you like this, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to check out some of your plays. You know, seeing what you did wrong, what you did right. If you just want me to analyze it, if you just want me to kind of just go over it, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do that. If you don't like listening to me talk about cards, let me know as well. I'll shut the fuck up. But I think this is a cool learning experience. Anyway, guys, that's my time. Thanks so much for listening to me, and we'll see you next time.